Yo, what is going on, everybody? This your boy Sean, aka Puff Comics 83, and we are back after a long hiatus
Very
of doing
long.
this show. We did re-uploads on old movies for the holiday season, but we are back in the new year, 2024, and I have some guests with me. I have my partner down there, Varangian Vigilante. How's it going, my man?
Perfect. I watched all the movies we needed to watch. No, of course, I can watch the good ones.
And returning for the second time on my channel, Gary B, the Casual Comic Guy. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, gents. How are both of you today?
We are doing great.
Hopefully, I don't crash your channel on you.
Yeah. I was missing this. Like as relaxing as it is to like for 1 month to do like basically nothing. Since I also had vacation, like it's fantastic to be back.
Oh yeah, and we come back with a bang because we are talking some classics. We're talking Jason and the Argonauts from 1963 and Clash of the Titans 1981. Ray Harryhausen films of his stop motion animation, and we've talked to Sinbad movies before. And V, I was like, I should have asked V to send me that Sinbad so I could have re-uploaded that before this.
Actually, I thought about it and then I forgot about it.
Yeah.
No,
let's
let's
just say in the last weeks there was not a lot of brain activity going on.
But yeah, man, we're back at it again with the Ray Harryhausen films.
And also have an AOK from the Florida crew, and also like a nice haul that I will can show later. And of course, then the glorious. So people want to stay until the end because I'm gonna unpack some WCW trading cards.
Ooh.
Nice.
That Sean sent me.
So I want to give a shout out to Hulk Collector 82, Kevin. Thanks for joining.
How you doing, Kevin? Nice to see you, buddy.
Hey.
And then the G-Man.
G-Man!
Hey.
Old time
Nice to see
stuff,
you.
yes.
Is that old time stuff, isn't it? For Robert, like new, like recent movies. Because in my mindset, like still, when somebody says Jurassic Park, oh, that's a new movie, like.
Right, even though it's like 30 years old now, right?
Yeah, no, I was 10 years old when I saw it. Like it's new to me.
Well, and I would expect the movies we're talking about today to be right in Robert's wheelhouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And this goes back to when we was growing up and these movies used to be religiously on TV.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
I used to watch Clash of the Titans all the time whenever it was on. And I still get goosebumps watching this film, and we talked about backstage the Medusa scene. That scene still holds up as a powerful scene.
So good. Hey, John. Finally, he recognized it was a classic movie. Like,
Right.
finally, we see eye to eye what a classic is. But also, it's gonna be very interesting comparison, especially since Yasin and the Argonauts came out late in '60s. And of course, Clash of the Titans was like the swan song of Harryhausen, in the beginning of the 80s. Which of course, if you watch Clash of the Titans, which was released '81, it's a great movie, but it feels a little bit out of time for when it was released. So it was especially when you compare fantasy movies, that in Clash of the Titans it was still the old guard. And then, of course,
Right.
1 year later, Conan crushed all of this, and other than the era of low fantasy.
Yeah, this was kind of like the last hurrah for this type of flick.
Yeah, which was also thing interesting is that when you watch Conan, it's of course a homage. Also, it takes a lot of ideas of all the mythological movies from Italy. While Ray Harryhausen with Clash of the Titans deliberately went a different way. One of my main criticisms of Clash of the Titans is always that Perseus is not checked enough.
Right.
But it was, of course, he didn't want to, because he didn't want to cast like a bodybuilder like the most Italian movies back in the day, of course, with Reg Park, with Gordon Mitchell. So
Well, you didn't have Pat Roach in the movie.
Yeah.
Pat Roach is in the movie, of course. Brytek from Red Sonja and Toppermon from Conan the Destroyer. So
Yeah,
it's always good to have
one
Pat
actor,
Roach like in there.
Jack Gillum, that was actually in both movies that we
Yep.
that were
I was
discussing.
just about to say that.
And of course, we have Mickey in it.
Yes.
From the Rocky movies.
Hey, as soon as you hear his voice, you instantly know who it is.
Yeah.
And
Get up, Perseus, get up!
if you got to have a swan song to end a type of movie, it's a great swan song to end on.
And very few great, directors, writers, special effect artists get the biggest budget for the final film.
Steve?
Hey, Steve.
So
it's like. Because it actually was like a financial. It's funny because Clash of the Titan was a financial success. Jason was actually not a financial success.
Right.
It's seen now. Now it's like now it's a classic movie because it's awesome. But back in the day, it didn't pull in as much as they hoped it would.
And well, in Clash of the Titans, it has epic quests all the way throughout it, but it has a more coherent story.
Yeah.
There's elements of Jason and the Argonauts that just feels chopped together, although it's still just nothing but fun.
Jason and the Argonauts feels like episodes.
Yeah, it's a very episodic mythology. Like, of course, you have like the different tasks you have to do. So it's like episodic by nature. For me personally, I'm not like more into Jason's quest. I absolutely love it. Of course, it's always cool when you have Hercules in it, and I also love the way he's like written out of the story.
Also not yapped enough.
Yeah, he was also not yoked enough, like yeah, and of course it is just like in every Greek tale you have a shitload of Zeus children.
Everybody is Zeus's child.
Yeah, it's like, bring me the son of Zeus. That doesn't narrow it down.
And I thought too, we had two different Zeus portrayals in each movie, and I thought both portrayals were really good.
Absolutely, yeah.
They both had subtleties to them I appreciated.
Yeah, and they both have like arrogances, because Zeus is very arrogant.
Yeah, right.
I'm a very big fan in general, like of the whole Greek mythology, the Greek gods. What I really love about it is, even the Romans, when they copied all the Greek gods, they took all the bargaining away. What I really liked, is like this Greek irony is like, yeah, the gods are flawed like we are, and like we can haggle with them, and it's like, sometimes just shit happens because the gods, like, one day they give it to you, the other day they take it away. And I think the Greeks had the way like we got it portrayed through mythology. They have such a accepting way of shit happening.
And I one thing I like about Argonauts is Jason not accepting Zeus's offer of gifts and saying, I can help you get a boat and stuff. Often to do it himself, because he knows that that's like almost like you're setting yourself up to be have a price on your head later on.
And as you know it with the Greek gods is, you take the gifts and then suddenly it's the god success, like.
But I did always think it was funny in that movie how fast he burns through the 5 chances that he had. He just like burns right through. No, you give me the answer now.
That's actually this is something that really bugs me with the movie, because I'm, when I play a roleplay game and you get, these things with a limited use, I always keep it until the finale. Right. Okay, because it's like, not yet, there could be like a situation when it's
right. Gotta wait for the most dire situation to pull this out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like with the state, when they give something, it's like,
Now I did want to touch on it, and I mentioned it backstage with both these movies, because I watched them with a more critical eye again, because I knew we were talking about them today and kind of dissecting them a little bit. Because whenever I watched them before, it was just with a sense of boyhood wonder. Now, even watching them with a critical eye, you can't escape the sense of boyhood wonder, or I should say childhood wonder. Watching it, because the graining, I love the graininess that's in the film. It adds to the thing. I love the smoky effects they put when they're looking at the gods, because it makes it feel like you're in a distant place, a different place. But the camera angles are something I never really noticed until I turned a critical eye on it. And the way they set up the shots of the gods and the shots of the humans, and the way that they use perspective to help tell the story that they're presenting to you. And Ray Harryhausen, for his part, just a little asides where it was just this creature on stage, and like I don't think a regular director would think to just have like 10 seconds of just showing the creature in a transition scene, where Harryhausen did, and he had the presence of mind to put it at an angle that made sense too, even if it's just like an idle moment. It keeps that sense of wonder from frame to frame.
It's so easy to say, you know, oh, this is like a classic story, this is like a classic hero's tale, you know, as we have as has been told so many times in Greek mythology, so it's not that hard to adapt it. However, I think this is the good reason this movie exists. It's not that easy to make the clash. And make it a good movie.
And it's been made in both of them have been made into movies before, and no one talks about those versions. These versions are special for a reason.
Exactly. So it's even tough, like, to adapt like a classic that has been with us since the moment we wrote down history. Since the moment we wrote down mythology, and there's a reason, you know. There's so many Simpad movies, there's so many Jason movies, there's so many like Perseus tales, but there's a reason that the Harryhausen ones. It doesn't matter when you grew up. That these are the first when you think about it. Now, these were the first that my parents think about. These are the first I think about. Because these, like, there's a reason why these are like the standards.
They have such a charm to them because of what they represent. When you watch Clash of the Titans, and like Gary said, it felt like it was out of time, but it still felt normal to us. You know, watching it, like, no matter, even in the 90s and 2000s and today, like, they still it felt normal, and it felt still surreal watching them. You know, with these
and especially when you when you compare it with the remake, you know, the scorpions stop motion with the scorpion CGI, where like it doesn't work. You know, there's like a time and place for CGI, but it's like the stop motion, the way that Harryhausen did it just felt real.
And there's an anticipation when you get to a certain scene and you know a stop motion is coming.
Right.
You know? And when they got to the Isle of Bronze and Jason and the Argonauts, when you see the Titans, you're like, oh, one of them's coming alive.
Right. You know it's on.
Yeah, you just anticipating it. It has a glorious feeling when one of them comes out, Talus comes out, and Hercules, you know, like, damn, I done took the javelin, and now the gods come alive to take us out.
Right, and I was waiting for it too. I'm like, gotta wait for Hercules to fuck it all up.
Yeah, it's like, you know, because the thing with Hercules is that he knows he has a plot armor. So he's never thinking too much about consequences until those happen. Like we see later, where it's like where he really shows responsibility, like for a friend, and says like, you know, I'm gonna stay here. Like, I have to finish this. Like, I have to help.
Yeah, he lost his right hand man, Hylas, and I love that, you know, the crew wanted to stick up with Hercules and stay.
Right.
But, you know, Jason's like, we gotta ask Hera, and that's where the crew realized, like, yes, the gods are real, because Hera talks, and I love that shot of Hera's on the stag of her face there. because how she's watching them. She's keeping the eye
Right.
on
Oh,
them.
on the
It's
crowd,
always
yeah.
it's always so funny in like in mythology and histories, like that Hera is often portrayed like as an evil goddess. It's like, actually, with having Zeus as a husband and all the things that Zeus is doing, like Hera actually has a very good point.
Well, it's funny too, right? Like the gods, like even in both movies, they have wives and husbands,
Yeah.
but what they're all doing is going out and making babies with mortals,
Especially Zeus.
Yeah.
and they're all okay with each other doing it, right? They're just like, oh, you better not like your kid. You made better than my kid I made with that
Hera
human.
is not okay.
And then Zeus like picks and chooses which child he likes the most, and then
Right.
the other was just like, yeah, whatever.
It's so funny because Zeus is always portrayed like, of course, like as the noblest of gods and like the godfather, etc. Like he's like a deadbeat dad. He's like Rey Mysterio. Like
Now, yes, and when we're talking about advances, like so, Argonauts 1963, Clash of the Titans 1981. The biggest jump I saw in Ray Harryhausen's animation, besides a bit more fluidity, but was in shadow work.
Yeah.
Medusa.
Shadow work
Yeah.
Clash is great. With the showing of Medusa, with the showing of the forming of Calibos, and some of the other shadow work they did was just great, I thought.
Yeah, especially when you also like compare like the Hydra with Medusa with the movement. I mean, in general, when you see like through Harryhausen's movies, he has like always this fascination with like slithering creatures.
Look at
Yes.
the scene where they fight the two-headed dogs. Like before that, you see their
Yeah.
eyes in the shadows, and you're wondering, like,
Yeah.
what the hell is that?
I think that Alex Ortos, he wasn't even the myth. Like he was like he's like I think the brother of course Cerberus, but actually like two-headed dog was not in the original story. But it's like it's of course it's okay to take like some liberties with mythology, as long as it's fun and when is a two-headed dog not fun except when it's chasing after you.
And I thought it was weird that the girl that played Andromeda, Judy Bowker, who was really great in the movie, that she didn't really do a lot more this scene.
Yeah.
Unlike Medea, Nancy Kovac, who was in stuff. But
Yeah. But like what Kevin just posted, time took stuff. Like the skeleton fight in Yason took 4 months to build for like 3 minutes screen time.
Right.
Yeah, and this is a dedication to a craft.
Oh,
And
wow.
and this is like also what Harryhausen was able also to do, because of course like with his producer with Cher, like he had a very good relation, and a lot of today's effects are also suffering because everything's rushed.
Right.
So I'm not the biggest fan of CGI, but CGI can be done actually very well, as we also have seen in some movies. But always in these movies, when you really gave the animators like time and money, and Harryhausen like had like all the time in the world. It's like the same with Clash of the Titans. Like the movie was finished in '79 and came out in '81 because of the work that all the animations did.
And that's a testament to putting trust in Harryhausen to deliver when it comes to the animation.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna give you time to make sure you perfect it. And many times today we see rush CGI where it just
Right.
don't look all that good.
Even
And-
claymation today, when they rush it, you can tell.
Yeah, I think they have like a very weird focus. Today they don't really give a movie time, and yet when there's like a strike, we postpone the movies for a few months. So it's like just give. Yeah.
Well, he's had so many great creations, but I think his best creation was the Medusa ever.
Yes.
Like that whole setting, and just her slithering down, the bow,
Yeah.
the arrow, the rattlesnake effect, and
It-
just to make her a giant snake with the head, and just the way that he animated her, and I mean that was just I just remember thinking how cool that was when I was a kid, and when I watched it again today, just before we got, I was like, yeah, this is still really cool.
It is still cool. Yeah, this is, you know, Medusa. That's the great thing about it is she really seems so real, and yet because so uncanny because of the stop motion, but it totally works within the character.
Yeah.
I used to watch it all the time, Robert. It was Clash of Titans was on all the time, and Beastmaster.
Beastmaster is great, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, Time Capsule, you go back and they play those movies a lot. That's why we was able to watch them on TV all the time. Clash, Beastmaster, Argonauts, the Sinbad movies. Like, Jesus, man, I missed those
Army of Darkness, which of course is also a big homage to
and I forgot there was even nudity in twice in Titans, which I had forgot all about. Even though probably the last time I watched it was like 4 or 5 years ago.
But it's Greek nudity, so that's artsy, so it's fine.
Right.
Yeah, but it adds to the authenticity to it.
But the great thing about their creatures, even Caliban, the great thing about them is they give you a feeling of something that's alien yet real, because they're not supposed to be like anything you've ever witnessed, and you instantly feel that when you look at them, and yet they have a physical presence there, which is really cool.
Yeah, but actually, going back to the nudity, it's actually very odd for the Greek. You know what's the best invention the Greeks ever had? The orgy. And you know how the Romans improved it?
How?
They added women to it.
The orgy was there.
I should have seen the setup.
Yeah. Had something on my mind that I just totally forgot it because he said
Sorry.
No, we were talking about the creatures though, and I like that he kept losing his gifts. The only thing he didn't lose was a sword and the owl.
That actually, I liked that because it shows a vulnerability that you can't keep all three of these powerful gifts. You know, he lost the helmet in the swamp while his fight with Caliban, you know, and then he lost the shield when they got melted in Medusa's blood.
Right.
So, yeah, they give you these gifts, but again, you're not going to be able to hold on to them because you can't keep all three of them at the same time.
I think
and I like that they got rid of the helmet, because you got to get rid of the MacGuffin. Like, whenever you don't want to be seen, I'm invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also what I like about it is like there's two different approaches of like loss and overcoming loss. As you see, like in Clash of the Titans, it's with the loss like of artifacts, and the focus in Yason is of course the loss of comrades along the way, which both protagonists like have to overcome and have to accept.
And I always think it's interesting in Jason and the Argonauts how they end the movie on a positive note when the story ends actually tragically.
Well,
I think this ties into what we talked about, how it's like an episodic movie, because it still feels like there's story to tell after that. With him,
and there is,
he never went and got the kingdom back. I got the fleece.
Yeah.
Yeah. It ends like on like a partial cliffhanger because you got the golden fleece. Now you got to get your kingdom back.
Because things with him and Medea get really dark. Like he screws her over. She kills their children. She marries somebody else. She tries to poison his kid. All sorts of shit happens with her.
Crazy.
It's just
and then he dies. He dies by getting knocked over the head by a beam that falls off his ship to Argos.
Yeah, it's in the Greek mythology. There's just another Tuesday. Could be worse. It could have been raped by a satyr or something like.
Yeah, they just didn't like their heroes. Yeah, but you know how we could really screw them over? Yeah.
As the wonderful quote, the gods want entertainment.
He did all these great things for us. Now let's kill him in the most mundane way possible. Let that rotting bean drop, conk him on the head, and kill him instantly.
It's either that or you're being tortured by harpies for the rest of your life, and you can't even get your meal because them harpies just keep fucking with you.
The harpies is a good scene too, which people don't talk about enough.
Yes.
Yeah. I love the harpy scenes. Yeah. Yeah, we talked the Simpad movies in the past. Like,
Yeah,
actually, the Golden Voyage of Simpad is still my favorite Harryhausen movie because it's the
I love
most
it.
sword and sorcery.
Yes.
I-
But not, plus you had like what, young Jane Seymour, Carolyn Monroe in those. Just some incredible actresses,
Yes.
incredible beauties from the past.
I like that scene in Argonauts when they went and reached out to Phineas, you know, who was blinded and tortured by the harpies, and it shows that you know, when you get gifts from gods and you use it the wrong way, they're gonna torment you. And they're
I
gonna
like how
torment
he talked back to Zeus too. Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you grumbling.
you. Yeah, because and it's like you're gonna keep torturing me, but I'm gonna keep attempting to try and enjoy this meal. And then when the Argonauts come and capture the harpies, he finally get to have this meal, and this is where he helps them with their next passage through the clashing rocks.
Right,
I think
and
they moved
I
it-
like
and they
his,
moved
I
it
like his
just-
line too to Zeus. You know, look, yeah, I sin. I didn't sin every day.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you're punishing me every day
Mhm.
forever.
This is
Yeah.
so Greek. I love it. You know, in the original story, they just shoot away from the harpies. Actually, really liked that they captured the harpies here. So I think actually that was like a very interesting like turn they took from the original telling.
And I miss having monsters in our movies these days, like these, right?
Yeah.
And especially like there was something like Ray Harryhausen. He just didn't do stop motion. He put emotion in these characters. Like when you see the Kraken has expressions. It's
Yeah.
thinking. It's having emotions while it's looking at Andromeda and stuff like that. You know, it's
Definitely watch it.
Medusa is thinking.
Medusa,
You know,
I was the emotion, like when she used her power the first time, it is such a shock to see her face and
Yeah.
her eyes light up, and just
Yes.
the raw power of her emotion to freeze him into
Yeah.
stone.
Because let's face it, Medusa also was actually wronged.
Yeah,
So she's it's.
and I loved how just they made that effect so big with her eyes. Like when those things turned
Yeah.
on, that was it. It's all you were looking at on the screen. Like you were like, you know, you're like,
and they
I'm gonna
say,
get turned
don't
stone
look at
too.
Medusa.
It's like I'm like, wouldn't happen to me. I would have looked at the boobs the whole time.
If you enjoy those type of boobs, then yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Turner. Hey, dude, we would all look at boobs all the time if that was an option.
Yeah. I would look at muscle mummy orc boobs all day long. It's like
Even though I don't think she's in those card packs, but you might get the rest of the Medusa.
there
you go.
Yeah.
Now, out of these two movies, though, gents, what do you think is the best mythological creature that was presented in these movies? I think we're all probably Medusa, right?
Medusa, absolutely Medusa. It's you know, I mean, there's not a wrong choice. It's
Right.
But I think
Everyone's always obsessed with the
Yeah.
Kraken, but the Medusa is the effect
Yeah.
in this one.
Exactly, because Medusa is not just well done, but she's the culmination of how Harryhausen perfected his craft over decades.
And talk about stopping at the top of your game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He went out with a bang.
Yeah, you can't say, well, you know, this movie was lesser. You could tell he was getting this is just still top. This was top notch.
Yeah. And
And
not a lot of people get this opportunity to go out on top.
Right.
No, and I like the Kraken. You know,
Yeah.
I like you said earlier,
Like,
Gary. Like
Ridley Scott.
even the Kraken has emotions in his face. You know,
Right.
and we really get to see the full extent of him at the end when
Yeah.
we see him in all his glory.
And this is also something, when you compare it with the remake, where the Kraken in the original Clash of the Titans has a character. And in the remake, it's just a monster.
Yes.
Just a soulless,
Yeah,
cliche monster.
even though they had Liam Neeson as Zeus, he's release the Kraken. It wasn't all that emotion in this. First one was like release the Kraken because he was mad. The second one, he was reluctant. Release the Kraken. He didn't want to release the Kraken.
Yeah.
He was Zeus was beholden to the other gods at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing I like about Zeus in these movies is his willingness to wreck a town that defies him.
Yeah, right.
It goes back to even the biblical days, was of the towns getting wrecked because of their sins, and like he destroyed Argos. Like,
show me one thing that the Bible didn't steal from somewhere else.
Right. Well, I like too the speech that Hera's given and stuff like, what now? What if they all learn to be courageous right now? They're petty, they're this, they're that. Yes, because that's everything that you guys are. They're models of you.
Yeah.
Everything you're accusing humanity of, you are right now in Mount Olympia. Sorry, I could not think of it for the life of me. But in wherever they are, right? But that's they are exemplifying those traits to the nth degree, and humans are just a paler form of that.
Yeah. and they're no better. Like they try and act like because they're gods that they're the almighty, but like you have crooked ideas yourselves. I mean, like I said, Zeus got a wife, and yet he goes around and smash every female human that he can just to have multiple kids.
Yeah.
Well, you know why?
Zeus would have been totally on the flight list.
But you know why Zeus does that? Because he saw History World Part 1, and he knows it's good to be the king.
Yeah.
Zeus have no care in the world.
Right.
And like I said backstage, like he picks and chooses which ones are his favorites. Like the scene where Ferris is completely wasted. Like he gets back to the stadium and he's like done and exhausted. They said release the Kraken and stuff. Like Zeus like, oh well, we'll release the Kraken, but he secretly grabs Ferris and give him life again.
I think the closest we ever had to Zeus in real life is probably Vince McMahon. Like,
I can't with you, BB. I can't with you, man. Not Vince McMahon.
Like basically he's choosing his favorites. He's fucking everything that moves. Like,
he beats up his own son.
Yeah, it's like.
Why?
Yeah.
Why?
You're making Sean cover his face.
This man said the closest thing to Zeus is.
It's like, prove me wrong. Is there anything that Zeus did that Vince McMahon didn't do himself?
God, he's got big breakthroughs, that's for sure.
Oh goodness.
Oh boy, it's God of War.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably too. Like so far, and even though I think the God of War series are just okay, not great, but they are the best depiction of the monsters since we had those Harryhausen films. Was in those.
I've never played those games.
The Kratos
I like the gods too much.
Well, Kratos is pretty one note. The main hero, he's really one note. But the whole atmosphere, the whole setting, the fights are incredible. I played them all. They're fun. Stories aren't great. You are killing the gods, but fighting all the creatures. You fight Medusas. You fight Cerberuses. You fight Harpies. And they really bring all that Greek mythology stuff back really nicely, and it kind of puts you in that setting, and it feels authentic.
Now Hercules, I like Hercules, but they did him so dirty in that. They did him so dirty in that, and they had Kevin Sorbo voice him. I'm like, the bastards.
Oh, you mean in the new God of War?
In God of War 3. When Kratos fought Hercules and he bashed the skull in, it was Kevin Sorbo's voice. So I'm like, come on, man, that's the Hercules I grew up with. Why you going to
Maybe Sorbo was having some problems with the licensing then. So you know what? Let's kill this guy. I'm on board. Let's do it. But even like we were watching like the modern ones, I didn't even bother watching the second one that they made. The first one felt so soulless. And you're watching, like, yeah, the effects are great. It's cool. I'm not feeling any of the wonder I felt when I watched the Harryhausen. Harryhausen had a way of putting absolute wonder and entertainment into his creations.
You can with Harryhausen's movie, you can really see that he never lost like the fascination, wonder when he watched like the King Kong movies when he grew up.
That's the thing. Like the Harryhausen films, it sticks with you. Nothing in the modern era, when it comes to like using CGI monsters, really sticks to you compared to what you grew up watching, because you felt those monsters were real.
Yeah,
you felt like the Medusa was real. The Kraken was real. The skeleton warriors and Argonauts. Like we talked about it in Army of Darkness, and even in Nightmare on Elm Street 3, when you see Freddy's bones fight, that shit right there just felt authentic and it felt real. Even
and I forgot that was right at the end of the movie too. What? I forgot how long you had to wait for that fight scene too. I forgot it was like right at the very end.
Yeah.
Well, when you go to pen and paper roleplay games, when. Like I played pen and paper roleplay games for over 20 years, and when you fought a skeleton, you had like the Ray Harryhausen in your mind, like how when you played.
But Sean, you said it best earlier, and anticipation, and I never really realized it till you said it. But every time I'm watching them, and I see a creature like that's a statue or stone, I'm anticipating. I'm waiting for it. I'm like, you get all geared up. You're ready for it. And
that's another thing. The wonderful shots, the backgrounds, the photography, the cinematography of the films it still has a beautiful landscape in these films, especially in Argonauts. From something from 1963, and you look at the backgrounds. And you see all the statues behind Talos, and you like, man, even if you're just anticipating like all of them coming down, it's like just a great setup for how the show, they can get wrecked by all those statues.
Right.
I'm just thinking about it now, but actually I think this has a huge impact also, especially like here in Europe, because we have like a lot of gargoyles, like a lot of statues, and every time I see something, I always think, what if this comes alive? And I also think that harkens back, growing up with the Harryhausen movies. So you just expect something to come alive when something is so detailed.
Oh yeah, and that's something we don't mention either. Is the music is great in these.
In every Harryhausen movie, I still think the best music is in the first Seabird movie, but all the Harryhausen movies have like a fantastic score that fits the theme.
Yeah, the music is great. I want to talk about the Clash and Rock scene, and because that has to be a surreal scene, because once you hear the name Clash and Rocks and you see the mountains on the side, I'm like, why they call this Clash and Rocks? And then everything just starts shaking and all the rocks start falling. And I'm like, turn my ass around. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Right.
This is also a very classic Greek portrayal. Like I think also like I guess also like Skylar and Charybdis. Like they're portrayed as two sea monsters, but actually it's like two rocks, which is very dangerous to sail through. Which is exactly the position when you sail through Sicily and Reggio, like in Italy. So this is like some people think the the true origin of like this rock in the mythology. Which is really scary. But I've seen it with my own eyes when I was in Sicily. Like it's like really.
I thought it was a great scene though. Like just the idea of mountains collapsing on you is scary enough.
Yeah.
You know, so
like the ultimate helplessness.
Yeah.
And you see like on the other side a ship was coming through and it got decimated. You know, they saved some of them, and Medea was one of the survivors on there. But it's like, how are you going to get through this? And then Jason realized he had the Triton that Phallus gave him, you know, the blind man. And he threw it in the water, and then we could see Triton show up and hold the rocks for them to make passageway through.
Which I thought, I was going to say, that was a great scene too, with him just like holding them, giving them passage through. One thing I wanted to bring up, and it's a trope in all of these movies, but it's fun. It's the instant love, right? The hero and the heroine, instant love when they see each other. It's the same in the Sinbad movies. It's the same in every Ray Harryhausen movie seems to have an instant love.
I think but I also think it's important for storytelling, because you don't have like this.
Well, I'm not trashing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better to do it the way they do it than to do it as a way of like, man, this feels forced. You know, like they're trying to force these two characters together as opposed to it being, you know, something that's more natural.
Yeah, and especially when it's just like, look, you know, I was just going to be married off to this asshole anyway. I'd rather have someone I'm at least attracted to.
And on top of that, you're on the ship with a bunch of guys, so the first lady you set eyes on is like, yeah, she's mine.
Right?
I mean,
there's this motherfucker that flew in on a Pegasus. Guess what I'm choosing? But I do like and what I really thought they nailed in Titans, like all these different scenes with all these different monsters and all these different story elements, they nailed atmosphere really well in each scene. Every scene felt like obviously they're all different sets, but I thought in this movie, Clash of the Titans especially, they really nailed atmosphere. The atmosphere of the witches, the atmosphere with Medusa, the atmosphere in the swamps with Caliban. Just everything immersed you in what was going on right then.
I like how they got information from the witches, you know, because they were blind and they needed the eye. And he's like, well, give me the information first, and then he tosses once he gets the information.
Yeah, fantastic portrayal of witches.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is the witches were real people, and I thought they were the worst effects in the movie. with like the clay over their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
At least we only saw them for that one scene, and that was it.
I was like, the Harryhausen effects outshone.
I still liked it. Like
I still like it.
Yeah, I know, but of course, like it doesn't hold up to like the other stuff.
Yes, you can, Kevin. You can get Ray Harryhausen model kits now.
In general, I think there's like a big market for statues, etc. Every once in a while, like some pop up for pre-order, but like who has space for it?
Who has the space, and they're not cheap either.
Yeah, not cheap. Yeah, and
well, I don't know. When I was talking about the scope earlier, there's something about the way these are shot, which makes me feel like I'm watching an epic. And it doesn't have to be like they do in the modern one, where they sweep into the scene from 80 miles out and then they come up. No, they just take you into the actual room and they present it in a way that feels epic. They don't do this long drag and big build. No, it's just there. And-
no slow mo.
Exactly.
Right,
This
and
is
you
also
feel it
something
in the
where
room or the shot.
you feel the heaviness and the epic scale of the story, of storytelling. And this is like also something when you watch the remake. The remake feels not like an epic.
No, it feels kind of hollow.
Yeah, it's very hollow. It feels like it just basically it's like I can't remember any. There's no memorable scene from the remake.
See, in Argonauts, you remember that
Yeah, for
one?
me.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Evie.
No
In the
problem.
Argonauts, that one scene where Pestius or Peleus or whatever, he's making the one guy tell him what he sees, and the guy's fingers are all dirty, and they have the camera angle shooting up at his dirty fingers and then his face, and the guy looks lived in. He looks old. He looks like he's lived a hard life. There's no gloss to it. It's grainy. His hands look dirty. They look old. He's telling him of his future and the predictions. And I'm thinking if that scene was shot in a movie today, it'd be too glossy. You wouldn't get any of this gritty feel. You wouldn't have this visceral reaction to something so simple. As this guy holding his hands. They're kind of a little bit gnarled. They're dirty, and he looks grizzled. He looks like he's lived a full, long, worn life, and it just wouldn't be the same. It'd look too glossy. You wouldn't have the same emotional impact when you're watching it.
You saying that it looked too glossy is one of my main criticisms of the recent Hellraiser film. It doesn't look disgusting like the original.
Yeah.
When you see those Cenobites in the original films, they look hideous. They look disgusting.
Or even him coming out of the floor. When he's coming out of the floor, being born again.
Yeah, I guess like when I watch Hellraiser, I want to feel dirty after watching it.
Yeah, it makes you feel so uneasy. When you watch the new one, the Cenobites look so clean. They look like they done came out the shower and they look glossy and stuff.
Yeah, they're wearing their COVID masks.
Yeah, that was also one of my biggest criticisms with the Evil Dead remake, where it was not visceral enough. Like there wasn't a lot of gore and everything in it, but it didn't look disgusting.
Yeah, it's a lot of it to me just feels comical. Like it doesn't give you that uneasiness to it.
Right, there's too much of a sheen on it. It doesn't look. It loses when you make it too clean. It loses its reality.
Yeah,
that's like when you watch the Thing prequel and then you watch the '82 movie. It's night and day of how practical effects made that original Thing look creepy and scary. The CGI just ruined the Thing in the prequel.
Yeah, but like when we talk the Fulci zombie movies or the Fulci movies, it's just like zombies should be disgusting, and he shows it so well.
Right. And that can't be replaced. There's a grittiness, like that grittiness really adds to the gravity of the movie to me. Even in simple scenes like that's not a scene most people are gonna remember with that guy holding his hands out in the angle. But to me, that's one of those scenes that just helped cement me in the film because it just seemed so epic in how it was presented.
To go back to Hal's comment, gore doesn't equal scary to me. This is something a lot of people should know. Gore should not be used to scare people. Gore should be used to disgust people.
Yeah, and gore can't just be gore. It's got to be. It's got to be there because that's what's necessary to the storytelling.
Yeah. In effect, like every effect should enhance the story. Like everything that is there, it's the same. One of my favorite directors is Paul Verhoeven, and the thing he says, with sex scenes and also with gore and like brutality, etc. in his movies, every scene he puts in there brings either the story or a character forward. And this is like with every effect, with every scene, you always have to think about it. How does this benefit the characters and the story?
I'm also a big Paul Verhoeven fan.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And there's a movie I have to talk in the future. One of my favorite movies that is a little bit less known by him is Flesh and Blood.
Yeah, you talked about that one before.
Yeah, that one plays in the 30-year war, and that deals also with the bubonic plague. And this movie is, you watch it,
I think I've seen it.
and you watch it, and afterwards you want to wash yourself. it's so disgusting, but it's so brilliant.
But that's what those movies supposed to elicit. It's supposed to elicit a sense of feeling dirty, feeling like uneasy watching it. But yet the movie is so good, like, man, I won't mind watching it again because it has these emotions about it that it's dirty, but at the same time they did it so well. I always felt that way with certain movies in the 80s, like Basket Case and even when we talk demons and how the creatures look. It's like they look fucking disgusting, but at the same time it's awesome.
Yeah, but also because when you really want to instill fear, and I still think that the portrayal, especially of Medusa, is the most scary thing. Who didn't watch it as a kid and you just, you saw and heard her slithering and Pierce hiding, and this gives you goosebumps. Like this gives you, and you in there is like, I just want to hide. I just want to hide.
Bro, when she shot the guy with the arrow and he fell down, I'm like, in your mind, it's like, don't look. Keep your head down. Hey, let her shoot you with an arrow. At least you ain't getting frozen into stone.
Play dead. Like, if you die, you die. But
yeah, but there's that little asshole party that goes, oh, I want to see her turn somebody to stone.
Yeah. And also, always remember, the way you look at her is the way you being stoned. You're not really gonna be a cool statue. You're gonna be you're gonna lay there like a bitch in stone.
Right, you throws like this.
Yeah, at least make a good posture looking at her.
Hey, there's a saying though that you get one good look at Medusa and you guaranteed to get a hard on. That's all.
Yeah.
Hey, I want to highlight this 80s horror was the best.
Yeah.
And me and VV, it's a running joke. We say it all the time. That's because cocaine was pure back in those days.
When
they were on that cocaine, and everything came up in their mind to say, hey, we could come up with this movie, that movie, Basket Case, all these type of movies, and the creativity was off the charts.
Yeah, California was a better place when it was snowing. Like,
yeah, 80s horror is so much fun.
I mean, they had it all, from the gory ones, the campy ones, the comedies, all of it. They were creative, which is what Al said in our group chat. Hollywood has been creatively bankrupt for the last 20 years.
Yeah, and also like back in the day, still Italian horror is even better.
Oh man.
Yes.
Yeah. It's always it's works.
There you go.
And there's like little snakes coming out of the nipples, and you're fucked too.
or they glow green, and you're still stoned.
Yeah. Well.
See what I always thought too in that scene though, when Perseus reaches down to grab the head, right? I'm like, wow, he doesn't get bit by any of those snakes.
Yeah, it's always like
Hey, it took a long time for the body to stop moving. The body kept that reaction without.
Well, he was leaving and the body was still moving.
But I was like, a big shout out to Medusa. Like, she was really wronged. She did nothing wrong.
Now I wonder if Ray Harryhausen based how she looked on anybody. You're like, oh, that woman did me wrong, Medusa.
He like, yeah, I ain't like this chick. Let me put her face on it. That's exactly how she looked.
Right?
I can accept that.
Because like he's a guy, right? If you make him mad, he can just put you in the face of any creature he wants.
But yeah, that Medusa scene, and it's funny. Like as a kid, I always thought, because I remember I never finished the movie after the Medusa scene, and I was like, man, that should have been the main event right there. Because Medusa, it felt like main event worthy.
Yeah,
in the film, like the Kraken scene was good, and I liked it that he used the Medusa head to freeze the Kraken and stuff. but I just felt like the Medusa battle was
Yeah.
much more impactful.
It's like WrestleMania 18 all over again after Rock Hogan. Like the energy was out of the building.
Watch
Okay,
Jason
John.
and the Argonauts too, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch both films.
And
Back
the
to
Simpsons
back.
movies.
Yeah.
Assignment.
Well, I even have some of his old black and white ones that I still watch now too.
I mean, you can see like in a special, like also like in the short movies, that a lot of things he used later in the big movies, and he improved on it. Like a lot of his concepts, they were always like used. He didn't make something and say like, "Hey, it's gone."
Yeah,
Yeah,
BB's going to send me the
yeah, we gotta
video,
re-upload those.
and I'm going to re-upload that sometime this week.
Yeah, I even have them
Because
still.
Gary B's on there with us as well, and
Yeah.
that was a fun. That was our
still laying here. The Simpsons movies, they're so good.
I'm
The
trying to
Golden
think, that was
Voyage of
our
Simpsons is my
anniversary
favorite.
episode, right? If I'm not mistaken, right? B?
What's that?
That was our 2-year anniversary episode when we did the Sinbad film.
Well, I have no memory, but
Hey, we'll find out when you see the video.
yeah.
Yeah, Kevin, when he re-uploads that, watch that one. We had a lot of fun with that one.
Yeah, well, that was fantastic.
And yeah, Golden Voice is definitely the
Didn't
best. That was-
didn't they also do a comic book adaptation of Clash of the Titans?
I know they did Jason and the Argonauts, and they probably
Yeah,
did Clash.
Yeah, because they did the Golden Voyage that I want to remember.
I do. I have the Golden Voyage over here, actually.
Hmm?
And that has great art on that, and it's just as fun looking at that. Not as fun as the movie, but still it brings you back.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like even when you look at the poster art for those, they just the poster art alone transports you.
Back when movie poster art was great.
Right.
I mean, this is like a seller.
Hold it.
Yeah, it's so good though.
You know what's funny that the fought the 7-headed dragon.
Yeah, the
And
Hydra.
Hydra, yeah.
Yeah, the Hydra. And it's like the skeleton scenes was way better. Like the Hydra was good, but the skeleton scenes was better.
I thought the effects on the fleece were really good. How it would turn golden, then go dull. I was like, wow, that was actually a really good effect.
I think like also like the skeletons are like they're like the money shot, like because you already seen a skeleton with Simpert, and it's like let's up this with more skeletons.
Right.
I
What's better than 1? 7.
Yeah, the skeleton scene was better because you get all the skeletons fighting 3 members, and I like how it's an even battle. Like the skeletons take their lumps and they get decapitated and stuff, but they kill 2 members, and Jason's like, you know what, man, fuck this shit. I'm gonna jump off this cliff and y'all gonna fall and rot. And
Right, which I thought was a clever way to get rid of them too.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you escape all those people from the city. Go, oh, we're so glad to see you, and then they just turn on them like right at the dinner.
Thanks to one person though.
Oh, right. But you were waiting for him to be a turncoat the whole movie, so when it happened, you weren't really surprised.
Yeah.
I was hoping that he got killed on the boat, but he got
But
away.
they set you up a little bit because when he said thanks to one person, and it went to Medea first, and you're like, uh-oh. She inadvertently helped the wrong people, but then it went to him. You're like, okay, phew.
Yeah. What is the Greek drama without betrayal?
Right.
But at least Jason was smart enough to see it coming when Achilles was saying we should go out and sneak at night. And like, so somebody could stab me in the back while I'm not paying attention. No, that's not gonna happen. And
Right.
realize,
Well, I'm like, man, these guards are sleeping really well. I didn't realize that they got drugged at first. I missed that part. And they, when she's like letting them out, the door's like boom, boom, opening up, and like, yeah, they sleep good for guards. But the old drugged wine. That's another thing with the Greeks too. Like all the drugs. Right?
Yeah, of course.
Like, don't accept wine from anybody. Just
Yeah.
bring your own wine.
if you're drugged or hallucinate, just act like you're an oracle.
Right. But no, good stuff. The scenes, and I like the simplicity of the costume design too, where they don't try to go over extravagant with stuff.
No, it isn't me or and Jason and the Argonauts. They had normal garbs on when they were rowing the boat, but then when they got to the owl to meet
Yes,
the blind
they had
man,
that full armor stuff. Yeah,
Yeah, of course. They put some armor on when you.
like because it came out of nowhere. You didn't even see them put on the clothes. It was like, where'd they get this shit?
Has any of you rowed a boat in armor? Not cool. Not cool.
But it just like you know they had it packed somewhere. It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
I just wanted the scene where they're
just going
grabbing it
to
to go.
yeah.
And all right, now we know they have armor.
They must have it in their inventory somewhere. Like,
Hey, like it would have been nice if we saw like Jason say, "Hey guys, we're at the island now. Arm up," you know, and then they throw their armor on and stuff like that.
And I was surprised that in Jason, because Harry Hasselman likes to put little creatures in the movies that are always around. I was surprised he didn't have one on the boat.
yeah.
Because, like, even there's always something, right? There's always a little creature that he can animate and put in every scene.
Yeah, you fall. Even though that one dude fell before when he was on the top. And another thing, I love the use of the statue in Clash. You know, when what's her name was mad that the mother was talking shit about her, praising Amadrea, and the statue falls, the head falls down, and then she starts to rip into all of them and stuff. I thought that was great use of the statue.
I thought she was like prettier than me. I was like, what are you? Yeah. You're not even pretty. You're like the least pretty god up there. You're next to Ursula Andress and the woman playing Athena. Both of them are great looking. You're not to make money, but
Athena was not letting her owl go out there. She like, you know, I'm gonna get what's the name to build a robot owl to go out there because she was not giving it up.
And I like the dialogue at the end too when he's talking about putting them into constellations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even Cassiopeia, why the hell not? She was barely anything to the story, but we'll put her up there.
Yeah. She had a good manager.
Right?
I think both movies were just fantastic to watch. Just watching them again, it just brought back a sense of joy, you know, watching these films. And it was the same with the Sinbad movies. Like you could have not watched these in 20 years. But then when you watch it for the first time in 20 years, it's like, man, I remember the joy watching these when I was a kid.
I still see myself as a kid on the floor watching them on the TV, you know?
Yeah. They're not great movies for the time, they're just great movies.
Yes.
That's it.
I mean, there's a reason they're remembered, and there's a reason they remaster them and they keep them alive.
I still think like we have in the future also have to talk about I think one of my favorite movies that I watched the most as a kid was Kirk Douglas as Odysseus.
What one was that?
Kirk Douglas as Odysseus.
I've never seen that one.
Me neither.
With Kirk Douglas?
Yeah, that's a hole in my watching. I've never seen that one.
Oh, that one was on TV here all the time. Even from school, I saw it in cinema.
Odysseus, right?
Yeah.
All right.
In America, you call him Ulysses, or?
Oh, Ulysses.
Ulysses. In German, we say Odysseus.
Okay. Oh, I thought so. At first, I thought you were saying Odysseus because there's Ulysses, there's Odysseus, there's a couple different. I'll just look up Kirk Douglas and I'll find it.
That's what I'm doing.
But good stuff. I mean, even watching them with a critical eye, they're just fun. Odysseus, okay.
Yeah, it is.
Hold that back up, V. Yeah, I'm gonna look that up. Maybe the next time we get Gary join, we talk about that film.
Because, Kirk Douglas, of course.
Right.
One of the best who ever did it.
Yeah.
Now,
Great discussion, guys. You know,
yes.
these movies was a time capsule back in the days, and I enjoyed rewatching these films again. And it was a great way to kick off the new year with these two films.
Oh, definitely. Just fun right out of the gate.
Yeah, perfect.
Classic fantasy movies are the best.
Absolutely. You know what I gotta watch? I haven't watched Lady Hawk in a while. I gotta rewatch that and see if it's as good as I remember.
I have the soundtrack on vinyl here.
Thorsten, you had some stuff you wanted to show, buddy?
Yeah, I have some stuff that I got sent from the Florida crew and some stuff that I bought and I received today. So let's start first with the first book. And this one is so beautiful. I'm so happy that you guys got me this one. It's so tough to find the Marvel graphic novels here in Europe. And especially like the Elric, the Dreaming City.
Nice.
As I'm a big fan of Roy Thomas. And I love P. Greg Russell's art. Like, he also did a fantastic comic book adaptation of the whole Nibelungen saga. And just a fantastic artist. He also did some really cool work on Conan.
And he's one of those underrated, under-talked about artists.
Yeah, and his use of colors is just mesmerizing. Which is great because currently I'm also rereading like all the Elric stories, so this was very
I just
nice
got that one recently too. I still have to read it. That graphic novel.
Then I think this is issue number 2, like of the Boom Elric interpretation.
Nice.
The Virgin
Yeah, the
cover.
2-issue one they had.
I think didn't Boom Stories had like more issues? I know that Titan Comics released like the French graphic novels like in twos always. And this one just is perfect. The 1983 calendar of Conan the Barbarian, especially since this is the year of my birth. So this means so much to me. And before I'm opening the WCW cards, I also got like a small haul I received today. I already have this one, but this one is in such a great condition, and as I found it in a store in Berlin, so I had to get it. It's Conan issue number 2, and this one is
Nice.
Oh, nice.
This one is so
Love that
beautiful. Like, I would think it's like an 8.5 if I would have to grade it. So,
And that's a good story that people don't even talk about ever.
yeah, it's like still before Roy Thomas like tackled like the Robert E. Howard stories. So it's like his interpretation of Conan, but so great, and of course Barry Windsor Smith's art, perfect. Then I got this. Like, this is like a comic form. This is like an old Austrian comic book magazine. And this is the issue that the Fire and Ice issue. It also has a lot of other Frazetta stuff in it.
Nice.
So
Yeah, a little
fantastic.
Death Dealer there.
The fantastic Death Dealer. Yeah, Death Dealer, I don't know if it was in the US, but in Europe on some Fire and Ice posters there was Death Dealer. Also on the
Now
DVD,
that I've never seen. That's cool.
Yeah, also on the DVD, like this was like the DVD, also like the video cover thing from Fire and Ice. And then I got this German vampire comic, which is basically they changed the name of Vampirella in German after 14 issues to vampire comic, and this is also beautiful San Julian art.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's amazing. Yeah, so like a small haul and beautiful AOKs, and now let's get to the
Main event.
unboxing of the WCW trading cards, from 1991.
All right, so before you crack them, who are you hoping to get?
I think Vader was not back yet. I think he was just came back from Japan, so I don't know if he's like on any of the cards. Otherwise, it would be fantastic if Vader. Of course, Sting, Ric Flair would be perfect. Yeah. Maybe even some early woman, like, rest in peace, Nancy Benoit. Like, would be fantastic to have like her on it. So Let's find out. You know, back in the day, the plastic was dirty. You can't rip this. To cut it. So, but of course, maybe there's even like could be even like some early Micro Thunder when you still had like the catcher gimmick.
Right.
Before Wall Street and IRS.
Yeah, before that, yeah.
When he was with the York Foundation.
Yeah, no, the York Foundation was actually very underrated. He's one of the most boring guys that has a lot of knowledge on YouTube. Dutch Mantel.
Oh man, Dirty Dutch.
I can't listen to his podcast because I always like he fall asleep.
He's
However, here's already the first. Yeah, a man called Sting.
There you go.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite tag teams from WCW. It's of course Doom.
Butch Reed,
Ron
Simmons.
Simmons. Yeah. And one of the, not the best wrestlers, I think one of the most underrated characters, and people forget how over he was. Because Sid Vicious.
Oh, okay,
Man,
I remember him.
Sid.
Yeah.
The Master and the Ruler.
Oh, and another character where I'm a big fan of, and I absolutely love his son in the NWA, part now of the best stable in wrestling, the Southern Six, and here is his daddy, Ricky Morton.
Hey man, they still wrestling the Rock and Roll Express.
Ricky Morton is still like he's like more there to support his son, like sometimes. I think he was like still wrestling last year with his son when they won like the cup. Oh yeah! And I get this first boost and I already have everything that I wanted because I have Scott fucking Steiner, Big Papa
Big
Pump.
Papa Pump, baby.
Yeah.
Holla if you hear me.
Oh, and of course, this is like fantastic because I was like Flying Brian Pillman, rest in peace. His son is currently doing fantastic stuff in NXT. Then we had a lot of fantastic wrestlers, and now we have El Gigante.
Wow. Giant Gonzalez.
Be careful of the chloroform. Thing is it's like Ron Simmons, Doom.
There you go.
Yeah, Ron Simmons, one of the most underrated wrestlers. Like it's a pity that most people nowadays remembering him for his damn, but All America, like he was.
I still get like energy when I see him beat Vader for the title. Like
Yeah,
that still has goosebumps all over when
when you rewatch it, like how the people positively freaked out in that arena. Everybody like wanted to see Ron Simmons when he earned it so much, and even though his title run was not as legendary, but his title run is still historic, and I totally think he should have also gotten the heavyweight championship in the WWF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, this is just the first pack.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that, Sean,
Pillman.
that's a lot of cards in one pack.
Yeah, and this first pack, every one of my favorites, because it's the fucking Enforcer, Arn Anderson.
Oh, nice.
And I have now everything, See, I have.
When you get a pack of cards today, they give you like 5 cards.
But most importantly,
if it was a pack of cards today, you get mostly jobbers, man.
I have Arn Anderson, I have Sid Vicious, and I have a pair of scissors. Like, I hope everybody gets that reference. Because they stabbed each other with scissors.
Oh man. On to pack.
Oh, Terry Funk Cactus check. Yeah, I mean 91 there could also be some Mick Foley Cactus check in it, I think.
Yes.
See, this was after my era of watching wrestling, so a lot of these names are new to me.
I'm a big WCW.
You guys are
mark.
so young and I'm so old.
Well,
Yeah, like Rory Gary saw Bruno Sammartino live in Madison Square Garden. So what we have here? Oh, no, I'm getting an total package.
there you go. Lex Luger.
And then
He should be getting in the Hall of Fame this year.
yeah, I hope so. This should do it when he's still alive. And now I got the man that is handing out the N-word like it's candies. Can you guess?
God. I don't want to guess.
Michael Hayes. Just have to.
He bird, man.
Yeah, he's very liberal with the N-word because he thinks he is black.
He thinks he's black.
He thinks-
Just because he listens to soul music.
Yeah. I think that's the first double. The Dutch Montel.
Oh, that's a different.
A different. Oh yeah, but
The Dutch Montel, but
oh yeah, he is stretching.
Pause.
Then Tommy Rich.
Wildfire.
Yeah. Oh, another Ron Simmons.
You know, seeing these cards, all I think of is, man, they had a big body oil budget back then.
Yeah.
Everybody's shiny.
Another Sid Vicious. Perfect.
That's the thing. That's the good thing. You're not getting the same cards. You're getting the characters, but you're getting different photos.
Yeah, and another Ricky Morton. I have to post this on Instagram and tag his son. Nice. And
Wait for that nature boy.
yeah, Steiner Brothers. Awesome. Woo, woo, woo. Then yeah, that's a very unfortunate picture. You have your Brian Pillman's armpits, his hairy armpits.
Like, about to pop an elbow on somebody.
I think this qualifies as gay porn.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then another El Gigante in very fashionable in pink. Then another Doom. Nice.
Come on. It's gotta be Ric Flair.
Another, yeah. Now still another Brian Pillman. A lot of Brian Pillman. You know what? It's like people.
Is that Ric Flair on there?
No, there's
Brian
no.
Pillman?
Oh yeah. Actually, it's either Ric Flair or Idol, like one of the blonde ones.
Tommy Rich.
Yeah.
Damn, I spoiled you, man. I gave you 3 packs,
Okay.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only like 45
Let's
cards.
hope there's a Ric Flair in it.
I could have brought that whole box. They were like $1.99 at the place. I was like, I could have gotten a lot more.
It's
Gifted out.
it's good that there's not so many WCW fans out there. So.
Man, I miss WCW, man.
that
Hey,
vanity.
did you see me living the war this week? The return of
Not
Alex
yet.
Wright, aka Berlin.
I have to watch it. And now to a wrestler that Vince McMahon really buried, and he never came back from being the Red Rooster. But Terry Taylor, like also in the he was also really cool in WCW back.
It's just that the Red Rooster just.
Yeah, Red Rooster. Okay. Then another Sting.
Yeah, I got that one.
Then somebody whose favorite hold is regarded as the microphone, and as much as I know, he really loves WCW. Jim Ross.
There you go. Good old J. I was waiting for a Jim Ross card. I knew you got to get a good old JR card.
And as we know, he loves WCW.
He loves his wrestling, man.
Then a very strange picture of Lex Luthor jumping over Ric Flair.
That's the same as the other one.
Yeah. Yeah. Then again, Michael Hayes is a double.
Now that's a double. Yeah, it's the same one.
Yeah. Yeah, the stretching Dutch Martel, another double.
Oh.
Is this, I think, actually I think that's, yeah, this is actually the same as the last package, that one.
Damn.
And so, yeah, so it's like a really like, Armpits Diners. So that package was, so it's interesting that they had like a system apparently.
Right.
Oh, you only get the back of Ric Flair.
Yeah, I only get the back
You don't
of
get a Ric Flair.
but otherwise, fantastic selection. Yeah, there would have been so many Ric Flairs, like, it's like, and from the checklist.
Wow, you got the checklist.
Yeah, there's a checklist, but it's also interesting to see that, Brian Pillman, they really pushed him back in the day because he has so many cards on it.
Wow.
It really also really shows like how, of course, like how they perceive like their own wrestlers. And Brian Pillman, before his injury, one of the best technical youngsters. So really a pity how his career turned out. I mean, he was successful, of course, I guess loose can't everything, but sadly everything led also to his way too early demise.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
All right, so
But
Gary,
thank you so much for this guy.
Hey man, you're welcome, man.
else.
I'm glad it got there safely.
Yeah.
Gary, do you have anything to share?
Oh, that I picked up? No, not recently. I'm waiting for some stuff to come in actually tonight or tomorrow. But on the share list, no haul this week.
Yeah, I sent just an AOK out for Jeff. I still have one for YouTube, so I have to.
Now, I picked up another copy of King Conan #1.
You
can never have enough of
copies
these.
of that. It's an affordable book, and it's one of the best covers. It's so good.
To go with it, I got the final issue of Conan the King. And,
Hell yeah!
And I only got like 12 issues to complete the run now, so picked up this Eerie.
Sweet. With Vampirella. Actually, that's the fun thing, is that the original Marvel King Conan run is way more easy to complete than the Dark Horse King Conan.
Yeah, only 55 issues, and they're available. They were printing them.
And it's so tough to find some of the Dark Horse King Conans. All the other Dark Horse Conan stuff very easy to find, but the King Conan ones not so much out there.
Got this in the mail, the final issue of Vampirella.
I love that cover so much with the eyes.
Isn't it the Gonzalez one? Because this one, it must be a European artist, because this one reminds me so much of European cinema posters from back in the day.
Oh, yeah, good call. Because that could be a Dario Argento poster right there.
Yeah, Argento, yeah.
Martin Hoffman did the cover.
Ah, gotta check. But it really it looks so Spanish-Italian movie poster.
Yeah, but it's just a great cover. And it was very affordable. Shout out to Cantonese Comic Kid for this famous Monsters of Filmland.
Nice.
Slimer getting his head chomped by a zombie, but he's Slimer. You ain't gonna hurt him.
Yeah.
But I love.
You gotta have a brain to affect.
Yeah, I love the Vincent Price feature in this though. That was pretty awesome. I posted it on Instagram. I loved that.
Actually, we have never talked to Vincent Price movie so far.
Yes, we gotta talk to Vincent Price film. I posted this on Instagram.
One of my favorite Conan Red Sonja covers. Also, fantastic story inside.
Yes.
So great read, great cover. Like this one must be. I mean, it's of course this would change daily, but this one is probably in my top 10 Savage Sword.
And I like the color story in here as well. With him being like in like limbo and stuff and stuff. I love that.
This is just what you want when there's a Savage Sword of Conan magazine.
Absolutely.
Talking about bangers, this is probably part of the best overarching story that was ever released. Savage Sword of Conan, when Roy Thomas came back, epic story with all of the snake wizards. You have Tools of Doom in it. I think you have Tophamon in it. So And also, as Gary knows, part of this is also probably the hardest Savage Sword comic to find.
Yes.
Along with the last issue, the one with the Megalodon shark.
But luckily I had a buddy from Austria that AOK'd me my copy.
They got a double one because my comic book shop was getting in some old sort of Conans, and he had that one like for the cheapest. Like, I'm gonna get one.
And I think this cover's better than that one.
Another one. Yeah, I mean, the Larkin covers are all fantastic.
Yes,
and I still think that the final one, when he's fighting like the Serpent Man, is even better.
All right, so one thing about Tom, I got this from the storage unit that we went to a couple weeks ago. Man, his books are always in great condition. Always. Like, you pick the book up and it's like, man, it's like brand new. But yeah, awesome there. Picked up Vampies from Tom.
Beautiful.
Nice.
I posted this on Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
This was like was this
This was our first cover.
When the Hammer movie was in talk of making.
Yeah, it was around that time.
Yeah, but they said I wish the Hammer movie would have been made because Peter Cushing would have been part of it.
Ooh.
But sadly, that movie never happened, and
this is another great one right here.
Yeah, tentacles in the back. Like, this is exactly if I would be like an eldritch creature, eerie creature, and I would see Vampirella from behind. That's exactly how my eyes would go.
Now, this book here, I talked about it on my page.
Yeah.
We went to another storage unit sale, and they had no prices on the book. So I was automatically like, oh, fuck, no prices. And they had a line going outside. You know, they checking the prices on the internet. So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to walk out with anything. But I saw this book, and I was like, all right, I need this variant because it's got Stay Puft on the cover. It's a Dan Schulman cover, and I got to have it. But I was leery because, you know, they looking on the internet for prices. So I was like, let me test them and see what they do. I give it to them. I say, what's the price? They go look it up on the internet, and they couldn't find the price. They couldn't find the price that's suitable to charge me for. So they're like, well, since we can't find the price, $5, which is the cover price of the book.
Yeah.
Lo and behold, a week later, it pops up on eBay for $15. If they would have saw that at the storage unit on eBay for $15, that's what they would have charged me. So I'm glad I got it before it popped up on eBay.
Wow.
And
man, I hate that practice. Look, it's your job as a seller to have your books priced beforehand.
Yeah, I think so too. If you are a serious shop, then you gotta do your homework and not. First of all, you're holding up people. Basically, you know, when somebody looks up, it's like, well, then you give me 20% off because of my waiting time.
But the thing is, it was the storage unit, but he ain't had none of his stuff prices. Whereas Tom had all his stuff priced. You know, so it's like Tom made
he
sure
did
all
his
his
work.
stuff
That's a difference between somebody who takes his work serious and somebody who's going in there because it's cold outside.
And on top of that, you know, Al can attest to this, and I'll DM you that rundown, Al. But Al can attest to this. When he came down and we went to the storage unit the first time, Tom gave us 30% off. Then when I came back with Jeff and a couple of other people last month, Tom's like, I feel generous. I'm giving you guys 40% off. I'm like, shit. That means the next time we come, I expect 50% off, right, Tom?
And you know what's the wonderful thing about it? Because this is actually how you move product.
Yeah.
And you not only move product, but you move it like in bulk. You move it like in because you know when there's 40% off, then you're like, okay, this is a run filler, this is a run filler, so you're buying like in bulk, and he's getting more space and he's getting money, so it's like a win-win situation. Because these books are old, that's like they already paid for him, so.
And we invited more people to come over the second time around. The Comics Den was there, the Heroes After Dark. One of the Black Comic Lords came. Hey, that's more business for him.
Yes.
So he's like, hey, 40% off. Because you
And
guys
and what you're gonna do? Word of mouth. It spreads.
Exactly, and you know, we've all been around books long enough. We know the small percentage they pay to get most of those runs into their stores, and they know that people like us know that.
10 cents per books, like when they buy like a collection.
Yeah, they have 2 or 3 books out of that collection that pays for the whole thing that they sell.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just an awesome time, and we will definitely go back to Tom's Storage Unit again because he's got great books, great stuff, great original art there. I'm like, man, I don't want to fall into that rabbit hole of original art, but the art that he had there was like, man, I would love that.
Yeah, that's an expensive
and the thing is, everybody. Luckily, I've never seen this like here in Europe. But also, we don't have so many US comic book stores. But if I would go in a comic book store and they would look up prices on eBay, I would tell him, "Oh, thanks, I'm gonna order it on eBay then." Because if I wanna pay eBay prices, I'm going on eBay, and I can do this from home.
Right, and I have buyer protection.
Exactly, I have buyer protection, and it's like all these things that come with eBay, because there has been things in the past where like a comic book got lost in the mail, and no problem with eBay refunding, and yeah.
Well, that's why it always kills me when they get hung up on fair market value, where like a shop where I will go put time in, he'll give you a good deal because he doesn't have to sell something at fair market value to make a profit. If you don't sell something, well, you're 100% out of that profit. If you sell it for a couple bucks less, give the customer a good deal. You make a repeat customer. And that's 100% profit you made from something.
And that's the other thing, when you buy something from the store stays positive in your memory. So when you buy, like, for example, you're like having 5 issues missing from Arax Son of Thunder, and you find online the whole run for that money, where it's like, okay, I'm gonna buy the whole run, and the rest of the books I'm gonna move to a comic book store for pennies on the dime. So you also go to a store where you are like comfortable with, like, okay, like I don't care if I only get a little money for like the fillers I have double. I just want to have them gone from my house because I need the space. So he like getting new product, and by moving product, he's like having old product go, because you can also see with bad comic book stores when you go in there, and since a few years they have the same product because they're not moving it.
Hey VV, when you get a chance. You said you're trying to complete the Amethyst run?
The Amethyst run, yeah.
Hey, send me a list on that.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, and you never did what I asked you to do, Sean.
Oh, what was that? The Conan?
The King Conans, because I could probably help you complete that.
I got the screenshot. I'll send it to you.
Because there's some of those issues I have 3-4 copies of. Hopefully, there's some of the ones you need.
Yeah, I'll send it to you because I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, and I'm just happy because the comic book store in Vienna just posted yesterday that he got like Cullen the Barbarians issue number 2 and number 3 in, and I was looking for number 2 and I was looking for an upgrade for number 3. So immediately like, hey, send me the invoice.
Oh, for the Grim Grey God one?
No, the Cullen the Barbarians, the magazine.
Oh, the Savage Sword.
The Savage Sword style, yeah, because there are 3 issues. I'm still missing the first one now. Now I finally found the second one in Europe, and the third one is like the origin of Red Sonja. But the one I had had like a loose cover, and I want to upgrade that one. And he got one in, like, yeah. Yeah, the Grim God one, the issue number 3 of Conan, already upgraded. That one.
Yeah, so I sent the list because sometimes you forget. You get off these shows,
right?
Yeah. Go back to sleep, and the next thing you know, like VV will message me like, Sean, send your Savage Dragon. Like, oh shit, I forgot.
Yeah. It is so funny because now we're at the point where I went through all the missing Savage Dragons that the store still had. So now now I gotta wait until he maybe gets like some packages in again.
Yeah, man. But this was awesome. Great stuff, VV. I'm glad you enjoyed the AOK. I'm glad it got there. And
Yeah,
I'm really
happy.
Like I said, I could have brought some more of those cards and just gift them out to a lot of people. Because wrestling cards is like such a nostalgic trip.
Oh, it's going through these is just like it's time travel.
What?
And
Slimer goes to prison. Where does this come from, man? What up, Mastodon? Honey.
But yeah, also looking forward to next week.
Yes,
already
Highlander.
have the Highlander here.
Now, to be honest, I probably only watched the first two, and the movies after that, I vaguely remember.
Yeah, it's like I still have to get, I think, Endgame on DVD.
I know not a lot of good things came out of those sequels.
Yeah, but let's watch it, and also especially since parts of Highlander of the franchise take part actually in 2024.
I know Edge was in one of those movies. Yes, Master MegaCon. I will see Donnie at MegaCon. I'm gonna wait to close out the show when Gary come back.
Yeah, when he comes back and the show is gone.
Yeah, we gotta promote tomorrow because our man Dusty Brick Brown is gonna be on the 10-1-1. Hopefully everything goes well. I'm not gonna jinx you out. I apologize for last Saturday jinxing you and you having to reboot your computer. I apologize. But I am looking forward to being the host on that with VV.
Yeah, probably Al has so much Russian spyware on his PC.
Yeah, there we go. We got to get the thumbnail out there afterward.
Yes. So make sure y'all check out Gary B tomorrow, 7 p.m. That's the time, right? 7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern.
I will be a guest, Dusty Brick Brown. I'm gonna be on here.
Half awakened.
Yes, where Sean and I are doing our best to keep VV off his sleep schedule.
I apologize. I meant it, Al. I meant it. I did not mean to jinx you last week, man.
Dusty, man, he was bragging about it backstage.
Hey, how many times I went back and it was such a hilarious moment though. His computer
He's like, I used the power of a god against him.
Yeah, probably Sean has like a little L voodoo. L's PC is a voodoo doll.
Right.
But yeah, man, great show, guys. Awesome way to come back.
Good to be back.
Yes. And what's more fun is we get to all be together again tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. Besides tomorrow's show with Al, you got anything else you would like to plug, Gary, for next week?
Oh yeah, you know me. I always got shows coming up. Jackson Workirk was making fun of me. He said the internet almost crashed Tuesday when I didn't have a live show. This Tuesday coming up, we have Cliff from Cliff's Comics on the 10-1-1, and then we have one of our favorite people, Jason, Southern Comic Geek, on for his second appearance on the 11th.
Nice.
So, with Al tomorrow, of course, you guys mentioned him. But we got a big month coming up. We have Chris from Retro Rocket Comics coming up, Phil Tastic, just Bobby De La Ghetto for a second appearance. We're booked out into February right now, so we're doing good.
Wow. Man, my man Gary's just knocking it out with these 10-1-1s, man.
And well, we're doing some in the hot seats too, so we got to get you scheduled on there so we can do the interview show with you, Sean.
It's gonna grill me, man. They're gonna grill me on the hot seat.
That's right. We're gonna ask you all the tough questions about why you don't like Dusty Brick Brown and why you messing with his internet.
I gotta come up with an answer for it. You know,
No,
sorry. I gotta
no,
come
but
up
it's a
with
fun
an
show. We just basically talk about your comic collecting history and what got you in, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Look forward to that whenever I make an appearance. Hopefully, because like I said, I work night, so it'll have to be a Saturday night, and you'll probably make
Well, it
that.
will, because when we have you on and we do that special show, we're just gonna make Thorson stay up late again.
Sleep is
Oh, no.
overrated anyway.
And Al can join. You know, we can get him since
Absolutely.
you know he can roast me all he wants. You know, since I'm in the hot seat, so it gives him flaming material.
So I just use somebody else's internet that night, Al, so he can't get you.
Yeah, because if you use your internet, man, and it conks out,
Al, you need a good VPN.
And I still want to get Robert on both my shows.
there you go, Robert.
Yeah, it's like no escape.
Because I think it looks like his schedule's open up. See, I moved to overnights now, so I'm like midnight to 8 in the morning. So there's a lot of times, like if I have a show Tuesday, the show ends and I don't sleep that night, and I have to catch up. There we go. I wanted him on for the longest time. But no,
Right,
good
so-
stuff.
And thanks to everybody that joined us on this amazing show. If you have not watched Jason and the Argonauts and Clash of the Titans, make sure you watch it.
Those bloody reptoids.
And make sure you check out tomorrow's 10-1-1 with Dusty Brick Brown with his internet might crash on him, but you know I'm gonna try and put a good word on his internet, so it won't happen. So everybody, Happy New Year and have a great weekend. This is your boy Sean. Peace out.
Keep it casual.